All right, so welcome to class. I want to go over the last part that's on the exam that we haven't gone over yet, and then we will look at the exam, and we'll let you start working on it. So the last thing that we're going to do is similar to what was on self-test 7-1. Let me share my screen with you.
Hey, doctor, before I forget, can I ask you a question real quick?
Sure.
Okay. Regarding direction in the circle of fifths,
Yeah.
I get caught a lot with, if it's going backwards. So any of these questions, we should just assume when they're talking about the circle of fifths that we're starting from, if we're on the sharp side, starting from C sharp and working backwards, right, to C.
I don't know what question that's going to be asked that's going to relate to that.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
the questions are going to be more like, what chord can go to what chord? Not necessarily going around a circle of fifths.
Okay. It was just a lot of, if I'm in C and there's a G,
Mm-hmm.
which chord is preceding? So it was like, well, I mean, the
This was
C
showing
could,
up in the workbook?
yeah, I think it was the workbook, or just on some of the smart book tests,
Oh.
and it was just confusing. So I mean, is it the D or the C? As far as direction goes. So it was hard to figure out.
Well, if
Um,
it's a sequence of circles of fifths, usually it goes clockwise, right?
right, right. But this was like in the book, if we're going left to right, it's starting from E going to A, going to D, going to
You
G,
don't have
going
a
to C.
page number?
Um, no, no.
All right. If you find one, let me know
Okay,
so I can look at. But like chapter 7 in the workbook, it's specifically talking about the sequence of the harmonic progression. It's talking about the diagram.
going clockwise.
Well, no, it's talking about the diagram that doesn't go clockwise at all.
Okay, the one that goes left to right. Okay,
Yeah, you can go
okay,
from this chord to that chord. It's on page, um, in my book, it's on page 105.
okay.
105 is kind of the last version of it with the exceptions.
Right, with the
And then there's
third
also the minor
and the fourth. Okay,
version of it.
okay, cool. All right. Thank you.
So on my screen, it says harmonize the melodies below by using root position major or minor, not diminished, triads, in an acceptable progression. Try to give the bass a good contour while avoiding parallel and direct fifths and octaves with the melody. Be sure to include analysis. Then they want us to finally add SAT before part. So here we are in F major. So hopefully you see on the left the example in F major, and on the right you see my chart. Is this true?
Yeah, I see it.
All right, so we are in F major, so that means F is going to be my 1 chord. C is going to be my 5. B flat is going to be my 4. Two for my G, 3 for my A. Six for my D, 7 for my E. You with me? Now we can have one of 3 chords for every note. Like we know we're going to start on a 1, right? And we know we're going to end on a 1. We're probably going to go 5 to 1. Right? my second note is a G. So if I have a G, I can only have 3 chords. I can have a 2 chord, a 5 chord, or a 7 chord. Well, they don't want us to use the 7 chord because it's a diminished triad, so we can either go to the 2 or to the 5. Does that make sense? So where do you want to go?
We always go to the 5. Let's go to the 2.
Okay. There's no creativity points here. This is a theory test. We can go to the 2, but here's the problem if we go to the 2, Pete. We got to look ahead. And the next chord has an F in it. And we have to remember, what does a 2 chord go to? A 2
Goes
chord
to
usually goes to 5, but our note is an F. And there's no F in our 5. So that's my vote against going to the 2 chord. Does that make sense? So I'm going to vote that we go to the 5 chord here. All right, next we have an F. So the F can be in the 6 chord, the F can be in the 1 chord, or the F can be in the 4 chord. We know that the 5 chord goes to
the 2 chord.
the 5 chord on my chart can go to the 1 chord or it can go to the 6 chord. Y'all with me?
Yeah, see, that's what I mean.
Okay, so if we look at our chart, it's not a circle of fifths thing. Totally different than the circle of fifths, right?
Yeah, it's running backwards. Okay.
So don't think of it as a circle at all because, I mean, C goes to G, which is the 5, but it doesn't go to the 2. The 5 can't go to the 2. The 2 goes to the 5. It's a predominant. So it's not a circular thing at all, Pete. All right, so our choices is the 5 can go to the 6 or the 5 can go to the 1. Let's go to the 6. Because where does the 6 go?
Six can go to 1.
My chart has 6 going to either 4 or 2.
Oops.
Are you with me? Now, the note that we have in the treble clef here is a G, which is a 2. It's the root of the 2 chord. So if we go to 6 here, we can go to 2 here. Does that work? Or it also is the 5th of the dominant. So we could also go to the dominant. What do you think?
We could go 5 and then go to the 6 on the next one, right?
Well, we can't go 6 with this note
Oh, we can't? Is that a...
because it's a G and my 6 chord notes are D, F, A.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
So we can go 1, 5, 6, 5. What can the 5 go to? 5 can go to 1. 5 can go to 7. They don't want us to use 7. Or we could stay on the 5 chord. We could have 2 5s in a row. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What did I do? All right, next we have an A. A shows up in my 1 chord. A shows up in my 3 chord. A shows up in my 6 chord. Looking at this kind of from a structural standpoint, this is pretty much halfway through, right? Kind of like a cadence point almost. Are we all right if we go to a 1 chord here instead of a 6? Next, we have a B flat. Where does B flat show up? B flat shows up in my 2 chord. B flat shows up in my 4 chord. And B flat shows in my diminished chord, which we're not using. 1 can go wherever we want. Where shall we go? Let's look ahead. Our next note is an A, which shows up in our 1. So if we go 1, we can go to 4, back to 1, and still be all right. Yeah? We could stay on our 1. And then we've got a chord progression that works, that follows our diagram. Does everybody see that? Talkative bunch. It's a Monday. I'm giving you this exam as soon as we're done with this, so I would like participate and figure this out. All right, so we need to write in our bass line now. Yes. Remember, we're still restricted to root position triads. Go down to the C. Does that work? What's my 6th chord?
6th chord is D.
Okay. Five chord is C. One chord is F. 4 chord is B flat. Back to 1 chord. To the 5. Back to the 1. All right, so now we need to check for parallels, right? And direct fifths and direct octaves. So let's play this and see what it sounds like. Do we have any problems? I see a major problem. Anybody else see it? Does anybody see the parallel fifths?
Is it, is it the six going to the five?
It's the one going to the five. No, this is a third. You talking here? D to F's a third. You see this fifth? Going to this fifth. People, do you see it?
I see it, yes.
So we got to switch something up there. The one can go to anything, yeah?
As far as I believe it can.
Yeah. So what chord do we have that has a G in it?
The 3.
No. No G in the
So
3.
for F major?
Right. If we had a seventh chord, yes, but we're only dealing with triads. You with me?
I get you. My bad.
So we're not using diminished triads. We went to a 5, but we resulted in parallels. So our only other option is to go to this 2. But we don't want to go 2-1, so we're going to do this. This is what the book does. We're going to go 2, 5, 1. And we're going to have quarter note motion going on in the bottom. Let's see how this sounds, shall we? I don't like that. Do you like that?
I do.
It works, but
Well, is that okay to go from a fifth to an octave like that?
yeah, is it?
Or is that what direct octaves is?
Sorry? Oh,
Is that what I forget, is that what the direct octave is?
yeah, we had to look this up. Direct octave has to have a direct octave or a direct fifth, also called hidden octaves or hidden fifths, occur when the outer parts move in the same direction. So we're okay there because we're moving in opposite direction into a perfect fifth or perfect octave with a leap in the soprano, with a leap or a step in the bass. So we're going opposite directions, so we're okay. So there's our bass line. Now we need to put in our other two parts. Are you ready? How do we want to fill in that one chord?
Is this a 3-part texture or 4-part?
Let's do 4-part.
Oh, okay.
I think we should put the C in the tenor and then double the root in the alto.
Okay. Next chord. We're moving a fifth away, so we know that we have common tone, stepwise motion as an option. We're going to have one common tone, right?
Keep the C in the tenor.
Okay. Man, I did not like that at all. Let's try this again. Go down to an E.
F goes to the E.
Okay. To the 6th chord we go. We're moving by a second, so we have no common tones. We move up, so everything else is supposed to move down to the next chord tone. Is that right? Whoa. Does that work? Okay, we're moving a second again, so no common tones. We move down in our bass, so everything else is going to move up to the next chord tone, yeah? Now what? Are you okay if we just repeat the same chord? If we don't repeat the same chord, it's going to result in some kind of a parallel that we don't want, I believe. Or some very unsmooth motion with a lot of jumping. So let's just hang out on the same chord. Okay, our bass is moving up a fourth, excuse me. So we are going to use one of our 3 ways. What do you want to do?
Could we just keep the C again?
Uh-huh.
And then move up to the E? Or let's see.
Move up to the F.
Or F, yeah.
Okay. Next we have a 4 chord. So we're moving down a 5th. We have one common tone, which is the F. You want to stay on it?
Yeah, that seems like a good idea.
Go up to the D. What am I doing? B flat, D, F. Yep. Okay, we're moving by a 5th again. You want to keep on your common tone? We're in such close proximity, we don't have a lot of choices here. Okay. Our sopranos abandoned their A, so we need an A somewhere.
You could put the A in the tenor, and then you could keep the F in the alto.
Okay, I like it. All right, now we're going to the 2 chord.
When you just move everything up to the next chord tone because it's moving by a second.
So the bass moves up, so everything else is supposed to move down, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I need a G, a B flat, and a D. Okay, now we're moving a 5th. Our G is going to stay there. This could move up to the octave, and this could move to the E. Does that work? And then we're moving a 4th, so I'm going to move the tenors down to give us space for the altos to get to the C. Does that work? Shall we play it? Sorry. One more time. I like it. Do you like it? No response.
I mean, I've definitely heard better, but it's pretty good.
Like it.
Okay, so that is the last thing that you will do on the exam. So you can see it's kind of time intensive. It took us a good chunk of time to get that done, right? So I just want you to know that and plan ahead for that. Can I clear my screen? Okay, so on Canvas now, I uploaded your exam this morning, hopefully. Let's make sure that that's not a lie.
I didn't see it. I just saw where you'd submit.
Maybe I didn't. I didn't. Lies, lies, lies. All right, let's put a file in there. Still didn't work. Come on, no whammies, no whammies. Oh, why isn't it working? There we go. Now we're cooking with fire. Okay, so now when you click on that assignment, you click on that file and it will open up a PDF of your exam. So part 1 is error detection. The first thing that we want you to do is to critique the melody. Okay? Questions, comments, concerns about that? Hearing none, seeing none. The next part is error detection. There are at least 10 errors. There are more than 10 errors, but you only have to figure out 8 of them. So you're going to write these numbers on the score wherever the errors occur.
Wait, Dr. B, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
My memory is a bit foggy. Can you refresh me what exactly are we doing on error detection? What's the difference between that one and the 12 below?
So this, we're critiquing the melody.
Okay.
In chapter 5, you might want to go back and review in chapter 5.
I'm probably going to.
in chapter 5 it says that there are things that we're looking for with the melodic line. There was 5 things that we discussed about the melodic line. One was rhythm, one was harmony, one was contour, one was leaps, and one was tendency tones. So rhythm, it should be the same rhythm, simple durations, no longer than the beat. The final note should occur on a strong beat. For harmony, every note should belong to the chord that's labeled. For contour, the motion should primarily be conjunct or stepwise. And the shape should be interesting, clear, and simple with one focal point. And then leaps, we should avoid augmented intervals, sevenths, and intervals larger than an octave. A melodic interval larger than a fourth is usually best approached and left in the direction opposite of the leap. And when smaller leaps are used consecutively in the same direction, they should outline a triad. And then the tendency tone says that scale degree 7 should go to 1. Scale degree 4 should go to scale degree 3, although that's not as important as scale degree 7 going to 1. Does that help?
A lot. Thank you.
Okay.
As soon as you got there, it all just clicked back into my head, and I was like, yes, I remember this now.
Excellent. So that's what's going on at the top. Here we're writing in, this is wrong, so don't write it. If number 1 happened and we had parallel fifths, we'd write that. Or if we had a spacing error, we'd write 5 or whatever. So we're just writing in numbers that correspond to the error that they made. Part 2, we are filling in the short answer. That is straight from the chart. So I don't care if you go back and reference your book, but I don't want you just filling in the answer straight from your book. You know what I'm saying? Don't just copy it. Like, go back and read your book, but don't just write in the answer. I know that some of you are going to need a review, and that's great. Okay, part 3 is demonstrating the 3 ways, the 3 methods that we can write when we have our bass moving by a fourth or a fifth. Remember, way number 1 is common tone stepwise motion. Number 2 is what?
Similar motion.
By seconds or thirds?
Tertian.
Yes.
Tertian leap.
Number 3 is tertian leap and stepwise motion. Good. So you're going to demonstrate that you can do all 3 of those. The next part is figured bass. Remember that if you have a sharp sign, it is referring to which note?
To the third.
The third.
The third. So we have a B here. A third above B is D. They want you to make sure that you turn that into a D sharp, like they did an example for you. So you're going to have a D sharp in this chord. You with me? So we are filling in the melody. And write in Roman numerals. That's not on the instructions, but write in your Roman numerals here. Did everybody hear that? Write in your Roman numerals.
Will there be inversions?
There will not. Inversions are not allowed until next chapter. Then we get to do first inversions. That's all we're allowed to do. Okay, and in the last example, it's just what we did. We have to come up with a bass line and some Roman numerals and then fill in the middle. So if we were to start this one, how would we start?
With an E flat.
Pete says E flat.
Or it could be C minor, judging at the
Oh, Ethan says it
accidentals.
could be C minor, and Pete's laughing, so I don't know what's going on.
I'm just going off the accidentals.
Ethan's going off the accidentals. I like that. That B natural has no business in E flat major, right?
Oh man, I should have caught that.
Good. That's why I did it. I want to make sure everybody's in C minor, right? Also, we start on a C, we end on a C. So, we're in C minor. We're going to have a Roman numeral 1 and a Roman numeral 1. You with me?
Will that be 3-part or 4-part?
We're going to do 4-part.
Okay.
I avoid 3-part at all costs if possible. And write in your Roman numerals. Okay, so we're writing in Roman numerals for both of these. Questions, comments, concerns? Remember, if you don't have a printer, you can do this using pdfescape.com. Right?
And this is due Wednesday?
This is due Wednesday evening, so I want to check in with you on Wednesday, see how things are going, maybe answer a couple questions. If we're totally stuck, I'm hoping that we're not and that it's smooth sailing, but I know it's new and I know it's complicated stuff. I was in your chairs many years ago struggling with this class. So I'm going to let you go. Start working on this exam. Get it printed or start working on PDF Escape, if that's okay with you guys.
Did my other one come through on PDF Escape?
Sorry?
Like, I did the other one on PDF Escape.
I haven't even looked.
Okay,
Looked.
so I wasn't sure if it worked or even if I had uploaded the correct one, the one that was edited or not, because they both saved on my laptop, so I wasn't sure yet.
I can
I was
look,
waiting.
make sure. Which one are you in? 10 o'clock?
Yeah.
And this was for the ear training exam?
Because I used that PDF Escape, but I want to make sure that it worked right so that I could do it again.
Yeah. Why can I not see it? I don't see anybody's. Create exam week 14. There it is. Hold on.
Man, that's
Worked
time
like
consuming. I see how you do. I be like in my head when your notes and stuff look all crazy. I'm like, dang, that note looks horrible. But now I see why.
No, it worked like a charm.
Oh, okay, good.
Where you did it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. I can see everything you put in. All right. If there are no questions, I'll let you go. Pete, go ahead. You're muted.